Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I am Steppe and this is going to be part 33 of my early campaign where I am playing as the Almohads. And it actually has been a while since I've played this game because I took a little bit of a break there. It was unintentional, it was unplanned. I didn't really mean to take that break. It just kind of happened and I do miss playing this game. You know what they say about burnout, and you know what they say about, avoiding burnout is by taking breaks. And you know what? Sometimes I think that's kind of just BS. I think sometimes when you hit that plateau, you just have to keep on pushing through it, because now I just feel like it's been too long, you know? I feel like I've forgotten things and I'm kind of stressed out because I haven't played this game in a while and I have some catching up to do. So I'm looking forward to getting back into this. And with the Almohads, this is an easy campaign for me to jump back into because we are doing quite well. We are hitting, so this is the year 1319, and the economy is looking good. I'm making 7,000 a year. I'm at war with no one, not this page, but yeah, this page. I'm at war with no one. I've only one ally, but that's all I need, I guess. And I had just finished taking out the Egyptians just because they were sitting a little bit too comfortably over here in the east. They didn't have any really strong enemies that were opposing them, and they could have potentially caught up to me in points at some point. And that's another thing. I'm doing pretty well right now. I'm, far ahead of everyone else at 147, but there is a few other factions that can catch up because I will be making less and less as this campaign goes along. The Poles and the Hungarians are going to be my next targets because they could catch up to me, so they're going to be next. Now I have taken out the Egyptians, and what I actually am going to do is I'm finishing up building some ports here in Egypt and Sinai, and I think that's it. I think everywhere else that I've taken has a port already. And then I'm just going to abandon these provinces and just go back to my holdings here and hold my borders here from Cyrenaica to Aragon and Navarre. The reason why I'm building this port is so that I can, of course, trade with them once I relinquish these territories. So that's going to be the play there. And other than that, actually, now I wonder, once the rebels retake provinces, that counts as going to war with you, right? But can you, do you get that automatic ceasefire with rebels just by, leaving them alone? I'm not sure about that, honestly. I guess I'll have to keep an eye on my income and see if it shoots up once I leave these provinces and then they are taken back by rebels. We'll have to see. So, in any case, I was hoping initially that the Hungarians would be my next target, just because they are a bit weaker. And they actually are expanding a little bit into, they've taken Venice, and yeah, I was hoping that I could take out them first, but then I realized, yeah, they are my only ally. So that would cost me influence. By betraying an ally, you lose influence for your king. Now my king is sitting pretty well with his influence. He has quite a lot here, but he's also about to die. He's 64, so he's gonna be kicking the can pretty soon here. I mean, at some point. And who knows how much influence my son will have. Now my son, my next in line, I believe, is Prince Abdullah. And he's looking pretty good, right? But I don't know how much influence he's going to have once he becomes the king. And that is going to be a question, right? So there's a temptation to just kind of betray the Hungarians anyway and take that hit on my influence. But you know what? I think I can take the Poles in any case because I can start off with them, and then the Hungarians will definitely choose to side with the Poles over me because the Hungarians are friends with everyone. They're just I think that's everyone on the map. The Hungarians are just real pals with everyone. So because they are both Christian, I'm sure they will side with their fellow Catholics over me, and then I can invade the Hungarians without taking that hit on my influence. So the plan is to invade Moldavia, Kiev, and then Prussia and Pomerania, which are the 4 provinces that they have bordering the ocean. And I do have a very strong navy. It's the strongest in the game so far. The Poles do have some boats up here in the northern sea regions. Not much. They have a bark here in the Baltic, and then they have another bark in Skagerrak, and then they have a caravel here in the North Sea. It can be hard to tell apart the Poles from the Danes. The Danes are red on top, white on the bottom, and then Poles are the opposite. So red on the bottom, white on top. It gives me headaches. It really does. It can be really hard to tell these apart. And the Poles have a slightly deeper red, but still, it's you have to kind of squint to see it. So Yeah, the Danes have a big navy. They're looking pretty powerful as far as like navy is concerned. The only reason why they don't have like a ton of points is I'm fairly certain they are a reemergence faction, right? Oh Jesus, these are long campaigns. You can forget sometimes. But I think they were a reemergence faction, right? Right? Gosh, I don't know. But they don't have a lot of points. They're sitting at 61, so yeah. And like Western Europe is a mess. After the fall of the Sicilian Empire, it's just kind of a everything's up for grabs. It's a free for all here, and I'm fine with that. That's totally okay. I want everyone to be fighting each other for the scraps of the Sicilian Empire. That is good for me. That's gonna leave me hopefully alone out here in the west to kind of deal with. I'm sorry, not the west, but the east, to deal with the Poles and Hungarians without much outside influence. Hopefully, the Mongols might get involved. That's one reason why I wanted to start off with the Hungarians, just to kind of stay away from the Mongols, until the last moment. Hungarians would have been nicer, because then my main neighbors would have been the Germans, which I just feel like a little bit too weak to really bother me. But the not the Hungarians, but the Mongols do seem like they might still try to take a bite if they see a juicy target, so we'll have to go in pretty heavy here. Now, in Medieval Total War, and let me know, like, if you like playing this game differently, if you're more of a blitzing style player, but I feel like this campaign lends itself very well to long build-ups, big wars, tons of armies, tons of stacks, teching up your armies, making sure that your technology is up to date, and, playing the long game. I feel like this is the strength of this game. Whereas with Shogun, you could play a lot faster, and it made sense, I suppose, because it's a shorter time period, it's a smaller landmass, and just you're blitzing kind of like a narrow landmass. Japan itself is kind of a narrow landmass, so you just kind of go north to south or south to north, and the blitzing style I've just felt kind of worked well with that game. Now in Shogun, I did tend to like to take kind of a pause, like halfway through the campaign, and then kind of let myself and the AI get a chance to build our armies up so that we can have some fun end-game battles. Now in Medieval, I feel like you can kind of do this from fairly early on in the campaign. You can build up full stacks and have these big battles. So let me know, like, for me, when I like to attack, when I'm deciding to go to war with someone, I like to make it, a definitive, look, I'm going to win this war kind of thing. The whole idea of Sun Tzu, Art of War, just like, don't fight unless you're gonna win, right? And that's how I look at this. I like to build up so that every province that I invade, I have at least 3 stacks. 2 main fighting stacks, and then the third stack is kind of like a siege stack with some siege weapons, and then like some reserve units that can fill in for my wounded units after a fight. And that's like a bare minimum for how I'd go into an invasion. You're looking up here in Pomerania and Prussia, and you might think, hey, what do you need 3 stacks for? You can take this with 1 stack. Yes, I could. But then what happens when they push back? And again, you look around and you don't see much, but you look at these like armies and you see, okay, these are royal knights. It's not big numbers, but then all of a sudden, if you're fighting like 12 royal knights with just like 1 stack, you might be in some trouble. In addition to that, if you're trying to hold these provinces and make sure that these other factions do not kind of gang up on you and, poke their nose into this business, if I want to make sure the Mongolians don't attack me when I'm attacking the Poles, then yeah, I think all of those extra stacks is kind of important. Kind of keep other enemies, potential enemies out of the fight. So that's going to be my goal, is to get 3 stacks for each province that I'm going to be attacking here. Even though the Poles do have 4 stacks here in Moldavia, I'm not too worried about it. It's a pretty crappy looking army, to be honest. Crossbows, basic spearmen, javelins, a few armored spearmen, Slav warriors. These are basically peasants. Woodsmen, peasants with axes. Mounted crossbows, that's like their best unit that I see. Really, I'm not seeing any heavy cav, I'm not seeing any heavy infantry, I'm not seeing anything really too scary. So I'm pretty sure 3 stacks will be plenty to defeat this army here in Moldavia. And it's going to be a question though, I mean, how long is it going to take me to actually kill the Poles? I can invade. Boom, boom, in these 2 provinces, or, you know, and then what else is left? So they just have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they have 8 provinces. And then they have a lot of family right here in the king stack. So I would have to fight him. What about their generals? They have a 3-star general right here, but it's only a 1-man unit. So he should not be hard to kill. Sir Chemisil Jagli. Oh man, okay. I could have edited this out, but I'm already in it now. So Jagli, god damn it. Jagil Onchek. Sir Chemisil Jagil. There we go. Is that how you say it? I have no idea. Anyway, so he's, you know, he looks okay. So he's a 3-star general, but oh no, he does not. Oh no, he's not okay. Eager to retreat, so -2 morale. That's tough. Anything else? Yeah, I mean he's loyal, but it's not gonna matter. Well, yeah. So the +5 health, the Great Warrior will help him keep him alive, but yeah, the -2 morale is gonna be tough on his army. This should not be a difficult fight, despite the numbers. And then what about this 2-star general here, Władysław Łukowski? That's easier to say, I think. And then, yeah, Gluttony, -4 valor. Damn, poor guy. So he's gonna fight like shit, but he's also a gentle knight, so he's really, so he has high morale, and his army's gonna have high morale. And they actually do have some armored spearmen and some feudal knights here, or feudal sergeants. So they have some decent spearmen. What is this? Some Polish retainers. I think that's like a medium cav, or like a light cav that kind of has a decent attack, I think. Some mounted sergeants, another decent, like, good medium light cav kind of unit. Mounted crossbows. Yeah. There's some better units in these armies, but still, the numbers are gonna go, you know, in my favor, I think. So yeah, I think I can win those fights, and then, yeah, I can definitely take these provinces as well. I do need to get more boats into these northern sea regions, so I can make sure I can clear the way so that my forces can land in these provinces. But it should not take too long to really get this all in order, because I should have most of the troops, if not all of the troops that I need, all ready to go here in these Egyptian provinces. So I'm just going to be abandoning these provinces as soon as... So we are 1 turn away from having a port finish here in Egypt, and then 3 turns before this port is finished here in Sinai. But these forces can leave Constantinople right away. I don't even have to finish the siege. That's fine. They can take it back. That's totally okay with me. And I can leave Trebizond as well. That is totally okay. So, yeah, I'll just be leaving these provinces, and I'll be just bringing all my soldiers back to Algeria, just to kind of have a meeting area so I can get my armies in order and get my troops replenished and all that good stuff. And I do have some extra boats here in the Straits of Gibraltar and the Gulf of Valencia, so that I can spread these boats out up north and get more of a presence here in the northern sea regions. However, I think, now that I say that, I was keeping an eye on these Danish boats just because there's a lot of them in the water. There really is. There's a lot of Danish boats in the water. And I don't think the Danes would be dumb enough to attack me, but if they do clear off my fleets in one of my sea regions that are bordering my, you know, my provinces, and they go in for a cheeky like back cap and try to take out one of my back territories, that wouldn't be the dumbest. That could work for them. So we're not allies, you know, so they definitely could fight us. I just feel like, are the Danes at war with anyone else? No, they're not. Jesus, okay. I would hope they're just focused on the rebels. That's what I would hope for. I would hope that they would not want to fight me until they're, you know, take all of these rebel provinces that are surrounding them. Toulouse, Genoa, and Milan, you know, like take these places before you fight me. That's what I would hope, but you never know. You never know with the Danes. So, in any case, I don't think it should be too long before I'm invading Poland. It shouldn't be, but yeah, we'll see about that. Well, this is interesting. Are the Byzantines going to be having a little comeback here in the east? I mean, the door is wide open for them. I've just kind of, left them everything. So if they could start taking back some territories, that'd be kind of fun. I don't think it would have too much of a consequence on me. I think they are sitting at only about 60 points, so I don't think they are going to be much in the way of competition for me, but worth keeping an eye on for sure. So they have taken Lesser Armenia, and yeah, I'm losing these provinces because I did abandon these provinces, and that's totally fine. Oh, yep, and I did call this. So my Khalifa did just die from an illness, because yeah, he was pretty gosh darn old, and now my heir is taking over. Muslim bandits have appeared in this province here in Palestine. That's all good, and yeah, Trebizond as well. Now the Polish king has died, okay. Rookery, I think this is the tier 3 spy building, so I should be able to train spies with +2 valor. That should be pretty good. And then port finished here in Egypt, so now I can abandon Egypt. And then Marshal's Palace is finished here in Cordoba. I believe that gives me another title that I can give away, I think. And then Master Boyar, so I can train. Is that the PVs are blusters, I believe? And then weak principles, so it's going to be minus 20% to bribe this general, but I'm not too worried about that. And yeah, oh yeah, cool. So the Iberian Almohad civilization. I was wondering, I was like, I don't recognize this. So yeah, this is the one that I get for having, I think it's over 30 buildings built in, it's like a few provinces, like Cordoba, Aragon, Castile, and something else, Granada maybe. So yeah, that's cool. Nice to see it's a different photo. And then I think it's next turn. Yeah, 1321. I will get my homelands and my conquest points counted as well. So that will be another 7 points. Put me up to 160. And then, yeah, after that, the Iberian Almohad civilization is not going to be counted for another while. Yeah, the last turn of the campaign, 1453. So yeah, the other factions will be catching up eventually, so I have to deal with it because I will not be getting a lot of points. So how's my influence on my new king? 6. 6 is solid, isn't it? I think so. Then yeah, 4 command, 4 acumen, 2 dread, very solid. Natural leader, so plus 2 morale. And hedonist though, so not a great fighter, but you know what? Overall, he's a pretty solid Khalifa, I'd say. And how's money going? So it's 6,000. Okay, so we're making a little less now. I wonder why. Are we not trading? I mean, I know, okay, yeah, it's because I lost these provinces. But once I start trading with them, I should make some money back, right? Yeah, I guess I'll find out. Here is the title that is offered by the Marshal's Palace, the Vizier of the Army. Praise be to Allah, the compassionate, the merciful, and let him show the bearer how to be virtuous and wise in his service, and righteous in the services of his ruler. With the gift of this office, the bearer shall receive the following benefits, +2 loyalty and +2 command. That's pretty good, +2 command, that can go a long way, and I have just a general in mind for this. 5-star general, Idris Ibn Ishaq, you have 0 titles, and I think you've earned this one. Where's your home? Okay, so you're from here. Yeah, let's give you the title of Vizier of the Army and bring you up to 7-star general. That'll be pretty gosh darn good. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Nice. That'll serve me very well in my invasion of Poland and then Hungary. I was gonna say Hungary. Oh no! Oh no! Did I just forget something? Did I forget something really bad? The jihad fails to take the province. I forgot to send a jihad to Palestine. Oh no. Oh god. Oh, okay. So I hope that doesn't just automatically send my entire empire into civil war. Oh man, that's just a gruesome photo. The province has been recaptured by the enemy. The jihad failed to defend what should have been theirs. And this is a great blow to our faction. Huh. I'm a little confused. Because I did take the province, so I'm not sure. When you send a jihad to a province, and you win and you take it, if you lose that province, does that count as a jihad failed? Or did I just forget to send my army there? Because if that's the case, then I did not know. But if I just forgot, then yeah, that's on me. So yeah, homelands, yep, scored 4 points. That's good stuff. Yeah, 159. Okay. Oh, so yeah, I'm making less points off of conquest because I'm relinquishing my territories. Okay, so that's fine. Whatever. So Poland's up to 121, Hungary's up to 119. So yeah, they'll be catching up. I need to get rid of them. So yeah, what the heck happens? Like, did I forget something, or like I don't? Yeah, I'm a little confused here. I thought I sent my jihad stack to Palestine because I had taken it, right? So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there. And is Tripoli still mine? Yeah, it is. Okay, interesting. I can just bump these taxes up and that should fix that. But yeah, yeah, that's so bizarre. I'm a little confused about what was that all about. So yeah, if you have a jihad and then you take that province and then you end up losing it to someone else, does that count as a jihad failed? Or did I just mess something up here? Because if that's the case, that's way different than a crusade, right? Because with crusades, you can't... If you take a territory and then end up losing it, that doesn't count as a crusade failed as long as you take the territory in the first place, right? Yeah, I must be missing something. That's pretty crazy. So let's look at my my influence. How am I doing? So I still have 5. So I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. Thank goodness. All my people are happy. Yes, all my people are happy except for the places that I want to relinquish anyway, so... Looks like it won't have too big of an effect on me, thank goodness. I have just noticed that I can no longer retrain my Faris because we are now officially in the late period of this campaign. 1321 marks that beginning of the end, I suppose. And yeah, this always catches me by surprise when I play my Almohad campaigns where the Faris become unavailable because even though they're listed as an early game unit, they are technically available in the early game. Their build requirements are so high that you typically don't, or at least for me, I don't get access to them until like, you know, the mid game or the late mid game. So it's too bad because this was my best skirmish cav or light cav option. You know, it's a horse archer, but it can actually fight pretty decently in melee as well. It's a good unit, it really is. And the fact that I can no longer train them really makes... It does hammer home how the Almohad roster does get weaker, doesn't it? You know, losing access to the Faris is tough. In addition to that, I don't think I can retrain my Arab infantry anymore either. Because I'm not seeing these guys available to retrain anywhere, and... that's a little surprising. I kind of thought that they were going to be available all game. That means that my only swords unit is going to be my Almohad Urban Militia, which is totally fine. It's a good unit. You know, it's good armor, and it is good for fighting in Europe. It's just nice to have the Arab infantry for fighting in the desert. It's basically the only reason, because it does have lighter armor than the Almohad Urban Militia. But yeah, it's interesting. It kind of caught me off guard, and luckily I do still have quite a few Faris available. So I can use these guys, at least for the next campaign, and I should have enough to take on the Hungarians as well. It makes me think, because once I can't use Faris, my only light cav options as the Almohads is my Saharan cavalry, which I can, you know, of course, train for with my +1 valor bonus here in Cyrenasia. And, you know, it's a pretty basic... decent light cav unit. It's just for chasing off routing units and killing skirmishers. Other than that, though, it's just my Berber camels, and I actually do like the application of using Berber camels as long as I'm fighting in either the desert, where I get my +1 attack bonus, or in arid climate such as Spain, where I don't get a bonus, but at least I don't get a negative. And I think that also applies. I think there's a few arid climates, like the islands I think are arid as well. Yeah, it's arid here in Sicily. I believe Italy is like arid as well. So there is a few other areas other than just, Spain and the deserts where I can use my camels. Yeah, like it's arid here in Greece as well. I think it's just when I'm getting into actual central and northern and western Europe, I think is where I hit temperate climates. And yeah, what is this? Temperate, lush? Yeah, lush. Yeah, I think lush and temperate are the climates where camels actually face a negative attack penalty. So those are climates where you don't really want to be taking camels into. And I believe that Poland counts. What does Poland count as? Yeah, lush here, lush, 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 temperate, lush, and yeah. Yeah, so I don't want to be taking camels in here. So Faris will do the job here in the Polish territories. What about the Hungarian territories? Lush as well, I think. Yeah, lush and temperate as well, so. Yeah. I mean, Serbia is arid, so I could bring a camel here and I'd fight there. That's fine. Croatia as well, arid. Yeah, yes it is. And has Hungary taken... Yeah, if they've taken Venice, Venice is also arid, so... Maybe I can bring some camels on the Hungarian campaign if I need to, but... Yeah, losing the ability to retrain Faris is definitely a tough blow. It kind of eliminates a really nice option for a light cav presence for the Almohad army. Holy moly, maybe I don't have to invade Poland and Hungary after all. Look at this, my homeless has jumped up. So now I'm making 3 points apiece off of Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and Grenada. What? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 points just off of homelands. Is that more than... Okay, so Poland has some more stuff going on, so they're making 8 plus 6, 14. So 16 points for Poland. And then 10, 13 points for Hungary. And then I'm still making, 12, 14. Gosh, I could stay ahead, couldn't I, without even attacking them? I did not know that. I did not know that I'd be making so many. I thought that I was like in the doldrums, like just in the dumps for the rest of the campaign. And I thought that's why I was going to be forced to go on the offensive. I mean, I'm pretty sure I still will, just to kind of do something, I suppose. Because I don't know... Is anyone else making points? Is there anyone else I have to worry about? The Germans, yeah, they're making 10 points? No, 8 points, so... French, no. Danes are making points, but man, they're so far behind. Gosh, that is a jump though, isn't it? They jumped, like 60 to 80. So that's pretty good. They might become a problem in the late game. But not if I just keep making, the points that I'm making. If this stays the same, like that's really, really good, so. Yeah, in any case, I'm not going to change what I'm doing right now. Like I said, just for something to do, I will continue with my plans to invade Poland and then Hungary. Just because why not, I got my armies going. These guys are just sitting around eating, taking up upkeep, so I may as well use them for something. Now it does look like the war is back on between the Turks and the Byzantines. I mean, I don't know how that's going to go for the Turks. The Byzantines have been making some power moves out here in the east, taking over this big old void left by the Egyptians and myself. And the Turks feel like they can take on the Byzantines. Well, I mean, I guess it's going to go so good in this first attack. I mean, somehow the Byzantines feel like they need to retreat from this. Interesting. That looks like a pretty decent amount of soldiers for the Byzantines, so it's going to be worth keeping an eye on that. And yeah, the French just seem stuck. They don't seem like they're really accomplishing much here in Europe. And what? Oh, I was going to say, okay, so yeah, the Turks are retreating from Constantinople. Okay, got it. And yeah, I'm losing these territories out in the east, and that's totally fine. And we are catching, what? Rebel assassins. I didn't know that the rebels could train assassins. Maybe they can't. Maybe they just have assassins left over from whatever faction used to, like they used to come from. Like if they were Sicilian rebels, then they still could have some assassins floating around. But man, that's interesting. I don't feel like the rebels in Shogun could use agents. So that's really interesting. I didn't know that that was possible. Body house completed in Valencia. I believe that's the assassin building, I think. Is it the assassin or is it the spy building? It's one of the two, and I believe that's going to be the building that give me +2 valor. So emissary. So the Danes want to talk to me. They want to be allies. I'm okay with that. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I don't have any intention on fighting them. At least not anytime soon. Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, let's just accept this. I'm totally fine with that. They'll probably just kind of rescind on that as soon as I go to war with the Poles or the Hungarians, but in the meantime, I'll take it. Prince Ismail is honest. That's good to see. That is my second in line. I have 2 brothers right now, and I'm still waiting for my new Khalifa to get a wife. He is not married yet, so yeah, I need to keep an eye on that. Because he has 2 brothers that are just a little bit younger than him. So it'd be nice to get some actual sons on the way at some point. And then Man of Honor, so yes, plus 100% cost of bribe. That's always lovely to see. Now that I have pretty much all of my guys here in Algeria, and these ports are finished here in the east, now I can get my armies together, and I can probably, like, invade right away, I think. I would have to, you know, take out these boats here. So I do have enough boats in the North Sea and Skagerrak to take out the Polish boats, but I do need to get... Yeah, I need to get something over here to make sure I can 2v1 this bark here in the Baltic Sea. So let me just get a couple more boats up here. Yeah, that should be fine. Get these guys going, and you can come over here. And that probably will be enough. I mean, if not, I can bring more boats. That's totally fine as well. I'm continuously getting more going. Yeah, let's bring these guys up as well, just in case I need them to help clear out these Polish boats. And yeah, we can probably attack very, very soon. Maybe not this turn, but the next turn I can initiate those naval combats. And then, depending on how those naval engagements go, we could possibly invade the Poles the turn right after that. In this case, now that Poland wants to be my ally, yeah, sorry Poland, but I actually do intend on killing you relatively soon. So I'm going to have to decline this offer. Yep, sorry guys. Prince Ismail, very honest. So +1 loyalty and +1 morale, nice, okay. I might have to use him as one of my generals in my upcoming campaign, just because, yeah, I'm looking around and I'm gonna need a few good generals, so he might be one of them. He's not my next in line, so I may as well use him. And I think he's okay, isn't he? Is he here? Yes, he is. Yeah, 5 stars. I should use him. Natural leader as well. Yeah, +2 morale. Yeah. The only worry is that he is a secret blackmailer, and when they find out that he is an actual blackmailer, then he's going to lose some loyalty, but I still think he is enough to where he can hopefully take that hit. I think so. Now, my plans to invade Poland is going to have to be put off for a few more turns, just because I was putting together some of my armies, and then I realized that I don't have as much swordsmen as I would like. You would think that I just have this massive, you know, horde and I have enough of everything, but I don't. I actually don't. And having enough swordsmen is important to me, because I was looking at the Polish armies, right? And a lot of these soldiers are lightly armored. And if I'm attacking them with my Ghazi infantry, now I love Ghazi infantry, they're wonderful units. They're really good against armored units. The way that units work when they have a bonus versus armor is that half of the armor value of the unit that they're fighting gets added to this unit's attack value. So I don't have these numbers memorized, but say for example, this their attack value is 3, just for an example. I'm pretty sure it's higher, but let's just say that they have an attack value of 3. And then they're attacking a Slav javelinman, right? And they have pretty low armor. I don't know. Again, I'm just making these numbers up, but let's say that his armor levels are 2. Half of that's going to be 1, so you add that 1 to the Ghazi infantry's attack value of 3, and then they have an attack value of 4. And you might think, okay, that's great, right? Well, it's a lot better versus armored units, right? So a heavy armored unit, like a heavy cav unit, can be armor values of 7. You half that, and then you add that to your unit's, attack values, and all of a sudden that's a much bigger bonus, right? So they're not getting as much value versus these lower armored units, like these Slav javelinmen or Slav warriors or urban militia, woodsmen. Obviously, so armored spearmen, right, would be a good target for Ghazi infantry as well. But when you're going up against lightly armored armies, swords are typically a better tech piece because they have better base attack stats, so that they do not rely on the bonus versus armor to give them good attack. They already come with decent attack. Now, that bonus versus armor will give those, axe-wielding units a better attack versus armored units. Yes, they spike better. Their power values spike higher, than a swordsman unit's power values. But swordsman units in general, as I was saying, have a better base attack. As in addition to that, they typically have a better defense as well, so they can serve as kind of a more multifunctional unit in battle. They can provide a decent attack and a decent defense. So I want some more swordsmen to bring into this campaign. If I'm fighting up against, just this and this, like this is a lightly armored army, so I want to make sure that I have enough swordsmen to deal with that, and the Almohads just happen to have a pretty gosh darn good swords unit available in the Almohad Urban Militia, which I am retraining a bunch of them here in Lyon, I believe, yes. And this is going to be very good for me because I have these units that are getting +1 honor from Granada because of the, the province bonus for Almohad Urban Militia. And then they will also be getting the weapon upgrades of +2, and then the armor upgrades of +3, and then the Grand Mosque upgrades of +3 morale. So these Almohad Urban Militias are just going to be really, really good units. So yeah, I guess may as well wait for them, right? I want these guys in my armies, and I want to make sure that my army compositions make sense before I invade. And I have the time, so I may as well spend the time. I'm still making just, I was just going to say a crap ton of money. No, I'm not. Wow, my income took a huge hit. Is it just because am I not trading with these ports? Is that what happened? I mean, I know I was making yeah, that's Tripoli, wasn't it? I was making like thousands off of Tripoli, and now I'm not. Huh. So I wonder if am I not trading with these provinces? Is that what happened? Do I have to wait for the Byzantines to take them over? They might. I mean, I think they will, actually. The Byzantines look like they're doing pretty gosh darn good, except for this. I can't believe the Turks look like they might take Bulgaria. Are you serious? Yeah, this is going to fall this turn. My goodness. Are the Turks going to take Bulgaria? There's a full, stack here. I guess it's pretty crappy, but the Turks really have... Yeah, it's all Gulen bodyguards. It doesn't look like much, but yeah, it's tough. So yeah, I see. I get it now. It's just Gulen bodyguards. So they're tough units. Yeah, so the Byzantines, it's funny because they've been basically living in Bulgaria for like a century now. And now that they're finally branching out, they're going to lose Bulgaria. So that's how it goes, I suppose. Are the Turks at war with anyone else? No, they're not. So I'm curious to see if the Hungarians are going to get involved here. Will they come down and try to take Greece off of the Turks? Because there's really not much here, except for more Gulen bodyguards here in Greece. What do the Hungarians have here in Serbia? Yeah, not much. 3 units of artillery is not great. So if they invaded Greece, the Turks might win that, even though they just have these. All they have is Gulen bodyguards. Yeah. Yeah, the Turks would probably win that fight, honestly. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a pushback here, but if the Byzantines did want to keep pushing into these territories and taking them so that I can maybe trade with these provinces, I thought that I would be able to, but I guess I was wrong. Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, I know in Shogun, when you're at war with the rebels, it actually says you're at war with the rebels, but in this case, am I? Just because they took these territories off of me? Because it doesn't say anything. I mean, not here, but here. It doesn't say anything. Because I was under the impression that you could trade with rebels. I thought that's how that worked. They have a 4-star peasant general? What the hell? Unajur Al Kamil. Alright, dude. So yeah, it's not going to be quite... Oh man, Danes are taking Sicily as well. Alright. Good for them. Yeah, the Danes are just going crazy right now. And that's cool, as long as they don't go crazy on me. They've taken their armies away from Aquitaine, which is fine with me. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. We're friends now. Yeah. They're not at war with the English, are they? No, they're not. Yeah. Yeah, they're picking their fights wisely. They're just going after the rebel garrisons, which is the smart way to do it. So speaking of smart ways to do it, I'm just going to hang tight until I get my swordsmen into my armies, and then I can invade when I'm nice and ready. And the Sicilians have now reappeared. In Wessex, no less. Because, yeah, why not? Why not have a bunch of Sicilians here in Wessex? Well, that could really throw a little bit of a wrench into the Danes' plans for world conquest. Because they were doing quite well in this part of the world, I gotta say. So, what do we have? Looks like there's going to be 4 provinces joining the Sicilians. Wow, okay, that's pretty good. And I was just seeing if the Danes would let their princess marry me, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. My king is not having sons yet, and it's too early to panic. But he is like 30, so in 10 years, if he hasn't had a son, that's when I start to panic. Prince Ismail, let's see, yeah, so now he lost his loyalty. So -3 loyalty, I'll have to check on him to make sure he's good. I think he's still good, but let me check on this. Yeah, 4 is not great, but he's in the same province as his brother, so that should be fine. And yeah, you know, the dude's married, but he's 31 and there's no sons on the way. I'm just relying on my 2 brothers that are just a little bit younger than me, so yeah, that's not good. I need this guy to start, like, you know, what are you waiting for, man? Come on. This is the time for you to do your thing, so yeah, we're gonna need some sons. That would be nice. Now, let's check out the Sicilians. So, what do we have for armies? Okay, this is looking pretty pitiful, honestly. Our ballisters. This is looking a little bit better. Yep, some guns, some Pavese crossbows, some feudal men-at-arms, some chivalric men-at-arms, halberdiers, arquebusiers. There's some decent infantry here for sure, isn't there? But nothing in the way of cavalry. Okay, here you go. So there's a couple units of Royal Knights. Okay. So yeah, the Sicilians will probably be taking Wessex. What do they have here for the rebels? I mean, yeah, they'll take this, and then what's happening here? Is this did the Sicilians just bribe a French army? What just happened? Because that's not a rebel army. That's a Sicilian flag. Can the Sicilians, can a re-emerging faction change? I don't know what just happened. This is, what's going on here? Are the French, what does it say? So yeah, it says that it's in the process of being bribed, but did the Sicilians just bribe a French army in one? There's a little flashing thingy up here. Up in here in the top left corner is flashing as well. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. And this is like a kind of a decent army. Well, no, it's not super duper great. And whatever it is, it looks like it could be beaten by the rebel forces that are also here in Friesland, so I don't know what's going to really happen with that. But there are other provinces that are owned by the Sicilians. They now have Bavaria. Okay, some decent armies there. And then they also have Franconia. And then they have Milan as well. Interesting. Okay, so the Sicilians are back. And yes, they are fragmented, but yeah, I mean, this whole region right now is pretty fragmented, so it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, I don't have to worry about them. They start off with 0 points. That's how it works when you are a re-emerging faction. So I'm not concerned about them, but it's kind of nice to have another, faction back in the mix. And yeah, ooh, so they do have Malta as well. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Interesting, okay. Yeah, that's going to be worth keeping an eye on. And in the meantime, I'm working on getting my armies together. This is just a chore. This is a lot for me to keep track of, but we'll get there eventually. And I'm curious, like, if you do have any tips for how you like to manage the micromanagement aspect of this game. In Shogun, I kind of had my process for how I liked to manage the my army comps and the flow of troops around the strategic map. But in Medieval, it's just a lot bigger, and it kind of takes a lot of work. And I feel like I'm kind of getting there. I'm working with kind of different methods for trying to make this easier for me. I like to. I think I'm probably going to start experimenting with the idea of like this, like, keep it simple, stupid kind of idea, where I just literally have like a full stack of every unit type that I like to have. Instead of looking at my army comps and being like, okay, I like this and this and this and this. No. I feel like this is a waste of time, even though I'm doing it right now. I think it's a better and easier idea just to have provinces that are, of course, just training off like one type of unit, basically, right? And then I combined maybe not full stacks, but maybe like half stacks of each of these units into what I want to be an army that's going to attack a province. And I feel like that's probably a simpler way of doing this, because this is a lot of work. I'm looking at, my army comps, and then and then it changes, because then I get into a battle and I'm like, ooh, wait, oh no, I don't like what I'm facing up against. And then I gotta change it, and then I change my reinforcements depending on what their reinforcements are. So there's a lot that really goes into that, and I'm looking for kind of, like I said, simpler ways of doing this. So eventually at some point, maybe not this campaign, but maybe I might move towards a more, like I said, brute force method of just like train a half stack, train a half stack, train a half stack of every single type of unit that I want in my armies. Because not every unit can fit into my initial fighting stack, because, it's quite limited. But I think that some units work a lot better in the reinforcements than they do in the initial stack. For example, I like having swordsmen in the reinforcements. Now, that's not going to be the case when I do fight it up against the poles for the reasons that I stated earlier, but in general, I do like to kind of use my Muwahid foot soldiers and my Ghazi infantry more than I like using Almohad urban militias. But in reserves, I feel like they work quite well, because they are very flexible. They have this ability to, like I said, attack and defend. They have pretty good attack and defense values. So there's a certain versatility, utility, and there's a certain kind of just plug and play. Like, you can kind of just put them in different roles, and they can do the jobs. And there's another unit that I've also found that I think works quite well in the reserves, and not so much in the first wave. And maybe you have different ideas on this, but the naphtha throwers, they throw these grenades, and I've had a hard time. I've tried using these guys in custom battles to try to make them work up against heavy infantry and heavy cavalry, and they just get run down. I just can't. I felt like in Shogun, the AI, when it was attacking you, it wasn't as good at rushing you when it knew it had the advantage. Sometimes when it would get closer to you, it would kind of derp out and it would take longer to finish its charge. And you would have more opportunities to shoot it with arrows or bombs or javelins or whatever you have. And so you could have a unit that's like right in range of your bombs when you're playing as the Mongols. And you might think like, oh my god, it's going to get me because it's right there. But then it kind of like derps out and it kind of like slows down or stops. And then you can just kind of throw bombs on it and it's great. And then the AI in this game, I do find that once it's made up its mind to attack you, when it has assessed your army and it says, oh, I got this dude. This other guy, me, the AI is like, oh, okay, his army is based on using ranged units or something like that. And if I get into close combat with him, I'm going to destroy him. And the AI is good at really getting up close and finishing that charge. And it doesn't really derp out at the end there. It gets me. All the time it gets me. It kind of humbled me when I first started playing this game where I was like, man, the AI is not doing anything fancy. It's just charging me. Why am I getting beaten by charges? And I kind of realized, I'm like, oh yeah, it's because it's just better at it. I'm not getting as much shots in. Whether it's with crossbows or grenades or javelins or what have you. So I find that the naphtha throwers can be pretty effective as a reinforcements though, because at that point the continuity of the enemy army is pretty disjointed, and naphtha throwers at that point can kind of come in the clutch and just sort of like, bomb these units that don't really have much support set up for them. So there are uses for them. Maybe at some point I can find a place for them in my opening armies. That would be pretty fun. I haven't been able to make that work yet. For the time being, I just rather would use full units of, spearmen, axes, swords, crossbows, bows, cavalry, you know how it goes. So that's, yeah, in any case, that's just a little bit, talking about my army comps and talking a little bit about the flow on the strategic map. So if you have any tips for kind of any of these things, really, that I'm kind of talking about, and how you like to make this part of the game flow better for you so that it seems less like a chore and, more fun, right? And because I do believe that that method can be found. I did find it with Shogun, as I was saying. In the beginning, it was kind of a chore. And then after a while, I got into the flow of it, and it was no longer a chore. I was able to figure it out in Shogun and make it so that I knew in my head what I was doing with everything at all times. It just kind of flowed. It would just flow really nicely. And I'm not quite there yet. I spent a lot of time doing stuff like this, and it's still a work in progress. But in any case, I've been recording for a while. It's probably not going to show up in this video because I'm going to be editing a lot of this out. But in any case, that's going to be it for this one. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Conostep, and this has been Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye. And it does feel good to be back. So thanks for being patient with that little break there. And I should be back for this week and onward. So yes, thanks again, and goodbye.